The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. You're listening to the Court of Public Opinion. I have some really important points to make about some of the recent topics. My phone keeps falling. Having done a little homework about the missing D.C. girls, I think you got a real solid story here. I was a little sketchy about the Comet Ping Pong, so I'm not going to make anything of that. From the beginning, something didn't feel right about this, but this, in fact, is a real case where you can actually draw some obvious conclusions quickly. I mean, you do not have to question anything. You got 14 girls missing in 24 hours. That is unusual. Okay. Then I went through YouTube and then I looked into some of the people that were posting. This is probably bigger than some of the stories you heard. And I have a whole new perspective about some things, because I don't think that at the rate we were going, that really people are going to get to the bottom of what's fantasy, what's fictional, what's propaganda. Because I really believe Comet Ping Pong really was a propaganda move. I don't know how I came to that realization. And I know there's a lot of information, but I wonder how much of that was, backdoor stuff. I don't know quite yet why I pinned it down to that yet. But, I mean, it's not to dismiss that there isn't something going on there. That I want to make sure. But it is a propaganda tool. And anytime the media brings any kind of leverage to, like somebody in the case when Megyn Kelly had interviewed James Elefantis, I mean, it was pretty obvious. People don't wear these T-shirts. So I was just like blown away by that. And then I just knew it was just looking not good. That's why I backed off. But it definitely brought a lot of us to the realization that this is bringing the whole story about Pedogate to the forefront. And I know a lot of people that were smart enough to say this is not about Pizzagate. Although there's a lot of people that refer to Pizzagate. I hope you guys get that there's more going on here, and that's why I want to really make sure that you cover, your bases, okay, legally, because there is a head game before us. And this story, the missing D.C. girls, and several articles and news stories around this is just blowing up. It is going viral, and I have to tell you, this is stunning. This is the kind of thing that just blurts out all kinds of problems. And now you got what looks like a real case. Now, I would say that, interesting enough, because I was not comfortable at all with where we were going. I mean, I was just getting to the point where I was like, there's no way at the rate this is going anyone's going to take this serious. But then when you see a story like that, you definitely can take that, and you can take a second look at that story, and you're gonna have to ask yourself some real questions. You got this many girls missing all at once, and that's unheard of, unless something bigger is going on. And then what really creeped me out is listening to the Washington D.C. Metro Police saying they're doing everything they can, and though they already ruled it out as not a pedophile ring. That really is odd, because to me, you don't leave any you do not, first of all, I think you got to leave everything open to possibilities, especially initially in the early parts of investigation. How many times have we watched public investigations involving where the police come to the public and discuss this type of stuff? And already they want to roll out that. To me, I don't think you roll anything out in the first 24 to 48 hours. That's why I know there's something really wrong here. When they start rolling out that it's not a pedophile ring, that leads me to believe that something ain't right. And we have to discuss it. We have to. I would like to take a break, but now I think we finally hurdled something. I want to also point out something with Alex Jones. And before that, I want to tell you guys, LL Cool J just came out, and this was what was, this is one of the tweets today. and they can actually get their people out in numbers. I don't know why so many people in the conservative libertarian movement don't rally together when it comes to this stuff, but I think it's because it's more political. This is not political. This is for real. This involves kids. You know what I mean? And now, like I said earlier, here's that posting. This is DC pedophile epidemic. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to figure out the police. You know, I'm kind of concerned here when the police officers that really aren't investigators, really haven't done much in ways of investigation or reassured the public recently regarding investigations. I mean, you know, it's really bothersome when, you know, the police officers are kind of like friends with people that are, you know, like it kind of gets creepy when people are friends with people, and then you wonder why these cases don't go anywhere and why people are stonewalling. I just don't understand that. You know what I mean? You have to do your job, and the problem is that, you know, that's what we're running into, is that people are very close friends with somebody, and I don't understand these friendships. I don't understand how the police can be friends with somebody that has maybe a background in abusing children. And maybe that is why so many people are afraid that the police they're not going to go forward with these cases, and that's what it looks to a lot of people. I'm not saying that's what's really happening, but it makes you wonder how many of the officers down there really take these cases that serious when you're already saying in like not even 48 hours that pedophile rings has nothing to do with this. I mean, no one can possibly know that in 48 hours. Usually investigations, you don't rule any of this stuff out. That's what's really freaking me out. And this is after last night I found out another case here in Westmoreland County where a 9-year-old little boy was describing white stuff that was coming out of his dad's penis. And, you know, the hospital's been trying to bring attention to this, and the county will not prosecute the person because they're friends with some people in the county, in the police department. This is what we're dealing with. We're really dealing with people who, because they're friends with somebody, they're not going to go forward with the case. I mean, and the mother's just flipping out. And you know what they're doing? They're actually taking the mother and putting her in a mental ward after she learned that these officers and people that know her husband, her ex-husband, are friends. And that's called stonewalling. How in the world will you ever get the right kind of justice if people are friends with each other? To me, that's the problem we run into, is people's friendships, or for whatever reasons, nefarious or not, would cause them not to get to the bottom of it. You know, and that was what the whole story about InfoWars and right now in Comet Ping Pong is, that I can understand protecting my business and I'm not going to, at first I was like, why would Alex Jones like throw this under the bus? But I think because it was too early to jump the boat and jump the gun. And a lot of people, you know, seem to have to really remember some of the stuff that they put. The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network.